Welcome to the Daily Dose. My name's Robert. That's my friend Susan, and something very dynamic happening within our friendship, and specifically her life, is an upcoming DBS surgery. By the time you see this, very likely will have happened. And, there's preparation. We talked about that some, and where I'm at now, and where I think we're at a lot is, what's next? What is this thing, recovery? What do you know about recovery from DBS? How does it vary from person to person? What are your expectations?
I was told not to lift anything heavier than a gallon of milk for 2 weeks, not to go swimming for 2 weeks, not to take a shower for 3 days. Those are the only specifics I was given.
Talk to me
And
about the swimming angle. Is this a drowning fear? Is that what?
that's because I have
Oh, much more practical than what I was me reading into
no,
it.
yeah. No, that's it.
The
No, that's, well, I
electronics.
can't fly. I'm meant to not
Susan, you
fly.
don't believe that. You can fly. I believe you. No.
You bet.
Okay. So
Soar in spirit, absolutely.
that was a very classic thing, by the way, me over interpreting something. You were, no, just can't put it away. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good. So now you look at that, and then what are your expectations of how you'll feel afterward, and what kind of quality of life changes do you expect?
Well, I have had the great privilege of talking to a number of people who have had this procedure. I don't know that everybody gets to go through life, being that lucky, but I feel really informed by those conversations. I've also talked to several neurologists as well as several neurosurgeons. So I kind of know what they think is going to happen. And so that creates a nice basis for me, starting place for me. Um, sorry, ask me your question again.
No, just your expectations for your quality of life. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, what's going to change? What I mean, we've talked some about why do it, and you can certainly revisit that. And what do you think on the other side? I think this is an incredibly difficult question, and people. This is the common thing with Parkinson's, as you said. People look at you and go, "Do you even have Parkinson's?" They won't understand, and that is alone stigmatizing. But number two, there's also, as you mentioned many times, a window of when to get DBS and for it to have its greatest efficacy. So yeah, within that,
Yeah,
anything you want to jump on?
yeah. And not everybody even qualifies for the surgery. It depends on
Right.
what your presenting symptoms are. And so, my doctors had the position that I'm kind of lucky. If I have to have Parkinson's, I have a set of symptoms that can be helped by this.
Right.
So my expectations are real high on the hopeful end that my medication dosage will be adjusted downwards.
Right.
Um, my belief is that I was told that the battery life can be up to 15 years. They keep improving it, improving it. So, and my doctor told me recently that it takes a while to get the programming right to start with, but then really only a couple times a year as the disease shifts and changes. So I feel like my expectation is that, and what my doctor actually said to me is, you're going to feel like you did when you first came into my practice and we got your medication tweaked right so that you didn't feel like you had Parkinson's the majority of the day. And most people didn't realize you did. I don't care about other people realizing I have Parkinson's.
Right.
That's not what it is. It's the fact that the dystonia hurts and the dyskinesias are miserable. And, my expectation is to have as little of all that as possible.
And for our viewing audience, dystonia is,
Stiffness, rigidity.
and dyskinesia is.
Well, see how I'm moving like this? That's a really small version of it. It
Right.
can be all over. It can be upper body, lower body, limbs.
Right. And again, people, like you said, show that differently. You've had more dyskinesias. You say that's been growing, right? Yeah. and the uncomfortable
because
part.
my dystonia was getting the rigidity in my shoulder and the dystonia in my lower
Right,
limb, right side, was getting more intense. And so I took more medication to help with that, which is what one is supposed to do.
right.
Side effect of the increased carbidopa levodopa is increased dyskinesia, which is really tough.
Yeah. So that's the interconnected nature of the help we have with the quote unquote side effect, and side effects a whole nother conversation. I won't do that right now. But thank you so much for that. That's going to be our dose for the moment. We got more. Stay with us.